Hey, what's going on, guys? Asian Eyes White Dragon here. So I'm going to be doing some side deck profiles today, and we're going to be looking at Dino Rabbits first because it's one of the most popular decks that Inzectors and Windups at the moment. I'd say those are the top tier as far as meta goes at the moment. But yeah, let me show you some side deck cards you can side in against Dino Rabbits. So a really good card, Bottomless. I mean, it hits their Thunder Kings. It also hits their cards that they get out with Rabbit, so it's relatively good in that aspect. And, you know, Bottomless is good against a lot of other things, so it's good to side deck this against, like, Dark Worlds and stuff. The next up we have Thunder King. Thunder King shuts down pretty much any potential exceeds that they want to try to make. Basically, you'll be able to maintain field control over it. You don't have to worry about getting wrecked from, you know, a Rabbit play, as long as you have the Thunder King out first. Next card up, another Vandy's Emptiness. It's pretty solid, I'd say, but the problem is, like, I wasn't too much of a fan of this card just because if they MST anything, you know, Vandy's Emptiness goes away, and then you go minus. But, I mean, it can shut their deck down completely. Next card, Snowman Eater. Relatively good, but keep in mind, you want to have, you know, back row when you have Snowman Eater set, because if you set one monster and no back row, what they're going to do is they're most likely going to be making Dulka, and then they'll just negate your Snowman Eater, and then you go minus. So, remember, when you have Snowman Eater, set cards, because then they will always make Logia. It doesn't matter if you have to set Pot of Duality or, you know, Heavy Storm. You have to have back row to force them to make Logia, because again, Dolka will hurt you. Next card, a Spirit Reaper. They have a problem against Spirit Reaper. They just really can't do anything. Like they can Forbidden Lance it, you know, and the off chance they have Smashing Ground for the mirror match. Then yeah, it'll hurt Spirit Reaper. But yeah, Smashing Ground. Next card, are pretty darn good just because it forces out the negation with Logia. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's a relatively good card. It's just 1-for-1s, like the Logia effect. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's like the greatest thing, but it is a pretty solid card. But again, Snowman Eater is honestly one of the best because it stops a lot of their, you know, pretty much nothing in the deck other than like Tour Guide into something else and then make a like number 17 and attack over it. But realistically, no one's going to do that against like a set card. They might just go for like Sangan and turn. But next up, D-Prison. Again, it's just more cards that force the negation. Plus, you need to be able to set stuff like if they go for a Dolka and you have like Snowman Eater 1 back row, and they just decide to make a Dolka, you'll be good with a D-Prison or anything that just, you know, destroys monsters. Smashing Ground again is good against Dolka. Next up, now I thought about this card. I mean, like, you know, this card used to be cited again when people used to play Gladiator Beasts. And what it does is activate only when your opponent special summons a monster from their deck, which is going to be those normal Dino cards. What is it? Sabersaurs and Cobblezuls. And so, like, not only do you get to destroy those cards, because there's a parenthesis in S, and that means it destroys both the monsters. So you get to get rid of both the monsters and draw a card. So that's essentially a +1. Whereas, you know, if you Bottomless, that's just you know, 1-for-1 essentially. Next card up, Electric Virus. So when they make a Logia, keep in mind you don't really want to do this against Dolka because Dolka can negate this. Because yeah, and keep in mind if they are playing D-Fisher, you can't use this. You can't use Maxi or Valor. But yeah, Electric Virus relatively decent. So you basically get to take control over their Logia, and then from there you can like go off, and then you can Dark Hole yourself if you need to, and then like if they try to stop your play, you have their Logia to negate. Relatively good, plus it's a light, you know. Also, if you're playing against Scraps, it is pretty darn good. But yeah, mostly against like Dino Rabbit. It's kind of like the Puppet Plant, if you guys remember, against 6 Samurais. And the next card up, Fossil Dinah. You know, if you have protection, Fossil Dinah is relatively good. I mean, they'll probably summon like Cobblezuls and try to attack into it. And as long as you have that D-Prison set or any protection, Mirror Force, which is another good card to side against them. I just don't really have it here because, I mean, Mirror Force could be a main deck card for some people, but most of these are side decks other than Thunder King. Thunder King's amazing. And then next up, Volcanic Queen. There's also Lava Golem, but I feel like if they go first turn, they don't make, you know, multiple monsters, then you're kind of there sitting on a Lava Golem that you can't use. But Lava Golem does get rid of 2. So what this card does is you get to tribute your opponent's monster, and you special summon him. And basically, you're going to need to be setting cards because you can't normal summon or set this turn. You can still special summon that turn, but I wasn't really a fan of Volcanic Queen, although some of you guys might like it. Yeah, and then next card up, we have Blackhorn of Heaven. So it's just negate Logia, negate, you know, pretty much whatever they make, and there's no cost. It's just a counter trap. It's kind of like a warning that you don't have to pay for. But remember, you can't, you know, Blackhorn of Heaven like a Thunder King. It's only the special summons, and it can't be like, if your opponent activates Monster Reborn, you can't Blackhorn of Heaven it. You have to be, it has to be a monster that's either a special summon from their hand, or, you know, Synchro or XYZ. And then the last card up over here, Dark Trap Hole. So it's when your opponent summons 2 or more monsters, you get to send those monsters to the graveyard. And then it gets better. So you also get to send all monsters in your opponent's hand and deck to the graveyard. So I mean, you get to look at their hand, so it's not that bad. Yeah, so it's not that bad in that aspect that you get to see their hand. It's kind of, I guess, like a trap does shoot, essentially. But yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. And just for fun, the cards in the picture are actually other Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It's Air Bellum and Sea Koala, and those were cards used before, when you used to be able to like run Rescue Rabbit, or Rescue Cat, I should say. And then I just put that there for fun. And just a tip, when you're playing against the deck, obviously Maxi is really good against the deck. When your opponent, if they're playing Gold Sark, or they already have a Rabbit banished, and they go Summon Tour Guide, don't drop your Maxi right then if they already have a banished Rabbit, because you more than likely will realize that they're going to go Tour Guide to Tour Guide, make Leviair, get back Rescue Rabbit. Let them go for Tour Guide into Tour Guide, and then drop Maxi, because if they summon Tour Guide and you go Maxi, they're going to be like, okay, I'll grab Sagan, end turn, that's it. And then you basically get to 1-for-1 Maxi. Not that great. But if they go Tour Guide to Tour Guide, wait until they just make the other Tour Guide come out. So they go Tour Guide, then drop Maxi, because at that point, they can't, what are they going to do with 2 Tour Guides on the field? They just sit there? They're most likely going to be going for Leviair, you know, and after that you still get to +3. Yes, you'll get to +4 if they make that play. If they go Tour Guide and you go drop Maxi, and they go, okay, I'll make Tour Guide again, and then I'll get out Leviair, then get Rabbit, and then banish that for more. So yeah, you're gonna go 1+1 more if you drop it right immediately, if they happen to still go for the play. I'm sorry, that might be kind of confusing for you guys, but if you guys understand what I'm saying, it is absolutely amazing. Let them go for Tour Guide into Tour Guide, then drop the Maxi. If they have a Rescue Rabbit banished. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, so those are some side deck cards that I thought that were great against Dino Rabbits. I think the most relevant, though, is Thunder King plus Snowman Eater, and honestly, Mirror of Oath seems pretty darn good, just because you get the extra +1 that will essentially really help out. But yeah, I mean, also, I mean, it does happen to hit Tour Guide, because Tour Guide, that's not that bad, actually. I mean, you get to draw 1. I mean, if they go for Sangan, you might not want to do that. But if you happen to hit another Tour Guide, then they have a Tour Guide on their field they can't use, and you get to draw a card. So it doesn't seem that bad at all. But anyways, yeah, those are some cards that I thought that were great against Dino Rabbits. But if there's any cards that you thought I left out, let me know in the comment section below. But thanks for watching, guys. Asian Eyes White Dragon, signing out.